column 79, okay, bending, and eventually taking column HN into H1 with. But more, of course, interesting is the result of this whole simulation business. Before doing that, we should just have a feel for what is going on here. Really, the whole system. This is, I've shown you before, this is the whole steel frame structure building, seen from the south. So column 79 starts up here in the northeast corner, going all its way through all of these 186 meters and actually proceeding 20 meters down to the bedrock. So what we are supposed to believe is that a fire going on the 12th floor in the opposite corner of this little red dot, and some office started the whole thing. Now I'll show you NIST's calculation, and this is occurring in real time. We are seeing it from the north side. This is NIST's picture, and it's in real time. This is NIST, how they reproduce the collapse. That's it. Now, there are many things wrong in the NIST report. I'll save you from most of it. Just point at a few things which are obvious. First question, was there at all a fire going on this floor at this time? Because NIST published a preliminary report, an interim report in 2005, where they, at that time, already had done all their homework regarding the mapping of all the fires. So, and it was published in that time. And here are some quotes from this report. You don't have to read the first of it. What is interesting here is that about 5:15, photographs show fires on 7, 8, 9, and 11 in the middle of the North Face. Floor 12 was burned out by this time. So according to NIST's own account, there was no fires on this particular floor, at least 45 minutes before the building collapsed. This information was taken out of the final report, which came about 3 years later. And okay, this is a picture which I've shown you before of the north side, but it is from 3 p.m. This is 2.5 hours before collapse. And this is the 12th floor. Column 79 is in here. But as I've told you already, it's a property of office fires that they only last for 20 minutes. For this simple reason that after 20 minutes there's nothing left to burn. A little joke here, because who was the tenants on the 12th and the 13th floor? Well, this was the Security and Exchange Commission. And since they had so many unresolved cases, when NIST is simulating the fires, they're doing this in the fire dynamics intensity program. And the parameters they're using is, of course, the length of the fire in an office. But for the 12th floor, NIST allowed, in the simulations of the fires, NIST allowed the fires to go on for 30 minutes because they had so many unresolved fires cases in their offices. So much paper in the offices. This is true. It's called the load, the burning load of the offices were estimated to be 50% bigger in the national security and exchange. They had big problems with the temperatures. They were allowed to collect a tiny fraction of the steel. Most of it was shipped immediately to China and Taiwan for recycling, which is actually not allowed, according to American law, to remove anything from the prime side. But NIST claims that they had access to representative samples of the core columns and the perimeter columns. And you can see from the look of the primer paint and by other methods which temperatures this steel has been exposed to. And NIST had found no core columns steel which had been exposed to temperatures above 250 degrees centigrade. And they found no perimeter columns which had been exposed to temperatures beyond 150 degrees centigrade. This is nothing. Still, they're saying, but maybe on the 12th floor, under the roof, eventually we could have temperatures about up to 600 degrees centigrade. I took a pocket calculator some time ago and tried to calculate actually how much would these steam beams expand upon heating up 300 degrees, and it's only 2.4 centimeters in either end. So this is what any steel frame structure could easily accommodate. But this is not, I would say, the punch experiment. The punch experiment is that wall floors do not expand laterally or linearly, as we say, they sag. And this we know from experiments carried out by NIST themselves when they were working on the towers. They did do experiments, and some of them was quite clever, actually. For instance, they built a model of a floor system. In the towers, there were two kind of floor systems. One was 20 meters long, but they did not have an oven of 20 meters. But they had ovens which could take a 10-meter floor beam system. So they built a full-scale model of the floor and put it into an oven and heated it up and expected it to fall down. It didn't. It just sagged and stayed there until they eventually had to interrupt the experiment at 800 degrees because the thermal column failed. So what you see here is you see the fire and you see the floor sagging. And they do so even at low temperatures. Now actually the outcome of this experiment was used by NIST to explain or make probable why the tower collapsed. Because they claim that the sag, if this is the perimeter columns, and this is the core columns, they claim that due to the sagging of the floors, the perimeter columns were eventually pulled inwards and failed. And this was what started the collapse of the towers. Okay? But in case of Building 7, they claim that the floors remain rigid, and due to the thermal expansion, they should push off the steel beam coming off its seats. So the explanation for the towers is contradicting the explanation for Building 7. Okay. Another thing is that there is absolutely no mechanism for how the collapse of the inner core of the building should progress horizontally through the building. If eventually the steel beam fails such a structure, what will happen is just it goes down and then it stops there. This, I'm sure every architect and engineer will support this claim. And it's a fundamental property of events that you cannot produce a symmetrical response from an asymmetrical input. So you cannot produce when you perturbing would be the proper word actually. When you're making an asymmetrical perturbation of the system, you cannot have a symmetrical response. This is a very fundamental thing, but it's easily understood that we cannot expect the whole building to go down like this because something happens here. And also, I have the least problems is can we really believe that the whole inner structure should go down without any notice, without anything being observed on the outside? We are talking about gigantic clouds of dust. I'll show you a little video, a rare video, which you might never have seen before, of how much dust really was produced from Building 7. And please notice that you do not see the dust cloud before the whole building is collapsing.